Today we're going to talk about basically a sequence of time of dates and archaeological finds. In Spain, in the province of Leon, you have a city called Burgos, and near that city we have one of the great archaeological sites of humans that has been discovered in Europe and to some extent elsewhere, because in this site we have a continuous sequence from the present day right back to 1.3 million years. Now, that is a hell of a long time. It spans about 5 human species, maybe more. And I'm going to share the screen now. Darn, I think I'm lagging a bit. I am sorry. So why is my thing? Can you guys hear me, by the way? I'm not cracking up or anything? Because sometimes my internet plays up with me. Oh, God damn it. I'm going to turn off Twitter as well, get as much bandwidth as I can. Now I can't hear you. Oh, thank you, Archaeology. I'm watching myself on my not on the Google Hangouts thing, but on the just to check out, and so we're good. I'm lagging. I'm lagging. I hope I'm not lagging to you guys. Anyway, let's see if this goes better, because sometimes it's bloody awful. Thank you, Jimmy Tippings. Anyway, let's get to serious business. I'm going to share the screen. It is by it's the blog of one of my favorite archaeologists, anthropologists. He's Spanish. He's a very good person. I've engaged him in Twitter, and he's very, very attentive, and I wish I was better to have him on as a sort of an interview. So, is this sharing? No, it's not sharing. God damn it! Sorry about that, guys. Sorry for the technical problemos. There we go. Now I've settled. Anyway, let's get to it. The Nutcracker Man blog is written by Roberto Stones. He's as I said, a Spanish archaeologist, anthropologist, and he works at the Atapuerca complex in Burgos. Burgos, just so you know, from where I live, it is only 600 kilometers away. It is close. When I lived in Australia, in Melbourne, the closest capital city was Adelaide, and it was 800 and something kilometers away. So it's closer than that in terms of perspectives, in terms of a scale. So at Atapuerca, we have 1.3 million years of continuous human presence. The 2017 campaign, direct evidence of the preserved presence of classical Neanderthals has finally emerged in Atapuerca. The findings complete an amazing 1.3 million year sequence of continuous human presence in Atapuerca complex, and we're going to join him in his in summarizing the dates and the finds at the certain dates. So we have the Cima del Elefante. The cave of the elephant, more or less. It's there. It's dated to 1.1 to 1.3 million years, and it's Homo species. The The sites of the pit filled with 10 meters of sediments. In 2007, a fragmentary mandible with some teeth was recovered from the TE9 level. Each level is given a number and a sequence. So TE9, you start from the top, from the bottom. No, start from the top, naming them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's how you excavate. You take out one layer at a time, so give it a number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Depends. I don't know how big the layers that they excavated, but they labeled it a TE9, and it was dated to 1.1 and 1.3 million years. And for the moment, there is no assignment to the species of the hominin species. It is most likely Homo erectus from the date it fits into, but they haven't conclusively shown that. So it's still only a hypothesis that it is a Homo erectus. So they named him Homo species, because we don't know species. We don't know exactly. TE9D, that's a sublayer of the layer TE9, has yielded several remains of bovid, cows, cervid, deer, bear, and many bird species, together with clear evidence of human activity at 1.3 million years, including a flint flake. In TE16, that is higher, and I will correct myself again. You start layering from the top, from the bottom. And you name them upwards, because TE16 is higher than the TE9 because it's younger. That's how you do. The lower the layer, the older it is. I apologize, guys. I am really, really, really sick today, and I will bear with you guys. I owe it to you guys, and as long as my voice doesn't crack, I can bear well. And I have my beer to keep me calm. So it's a Portuguese craft beer. It's called Buja. It's a stout, and it's bloody awesome. So cheers to you guys. It's got one of those flip top open things that you can reseal it, like a Belgian beer which I've drunk. Can't remember the name, but anyway, it's a good beer. Getting back to thank you, Jimmy. I will be fine tomorrow. I'm a Celt and part Neanderthal, so I'm got two things going for me. So yeah. Now, in the TE16, they also found the flake estimated at 0.8 million, 800,000 years old, 0.8 million years. The TE7, which is the oldest layer at Atapuerca, in 2017, most of the surface had been cleared, producing more faunal remains, the animals. However, it may represent a period prior to human arrival to Atapuerca. The excavation of TE7 will take place in the next 5 years. So again, I don't know if it's a layer, it's a level, yes, but I don't know how they structure it, because there is a norm. Terve Deles Juan. Gross. Yes, thank you. That's it. Gross, Jimmy. Thank you. That's the one. Gross. It's like that bottle, the gross one. Yes. And Malafis. I don't know what that means. Terve Deles Juan. Terve Deles. Anyway, I'm digressing, guys. Sorry about that. I'm delirious. No, I'm not. No, I'm joking. I'm playing up my illness. I can do that, can't I? No, Jimmy, it's good beer. There is no best beer. All beers are good. Well, not all, but most. Anyway, we have here a picture of the mandible that was found at ATE 9.1 from Cima del Elefante. They called it that because I think they found the faunal remains of a mastodon, an elephant. So, yes. Now, the next one, we go to the Gran Dolina, the great bump. The Dolina is sort of, it's like a chamber. Well, Dolina, possibly. And we find Homo antecessor. Now, this is interesting. Since 1994, different samples from level TD6 from this place, 8.8 million years ago, 0.8 million years ago, have recovered at least 15 individuals with all skeletal parts representing Homo ancestor. Potentially common ancestors to Neanderthals and modern humans, and possibly even Denisovians. We will continue waiting, but I'm putting that hypothesis forward. So, with potential common, many bones show tool marks indicating cannibalism. I've made a video before on the Neanderthal cannibalism and on human Homo sapiens cannibalism. So apparently, cannibalism continues back in time. And it is expected to fully reach TD6 in the next decade, where possible hundreds of new Homo antecessor fossils are waiting. Excavating is very time-consuming. Hello, Gunny. Yes, aliens. I'm still waiting for them to give me my ship, man. I'm disappointed. They were supposed to come the 23rd. That rogue planet thingy. They didn't come and give me my ship so I can control the world, you know. But anyway, I digress. And I'll get back. This is the actual excavation point here. They've only basically scratched the surface because they still have a decade long excavation sequence to do a campaign of excavation. And yes, in the meantime, the 217th this year's campaign 2017 has progressed at the TD4 level, dating from 9.921 million years ago, so they're going downwards slowly. And they have found 4 new lithic tools, some herbivore bones, some of them with cut marks, and a carnivore like Ursus dolinensis, a species of bear defined from this site, and the European jaguar, which was extinct 500,000 years ago. So, Cro-Magnon are Homo sapiens, meaning us, Virgin Sotos, and Neanderthals. Yes, there were Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal hybrids. I have 3.5% Neanderthal DNA in me, so I am one of those. You know, I'm a mutant, man. So yes, they were. It's been scientifically demonstrated. I won't use proof anymore because I've had a discussion with an Australian author who claims that Homo sapiens originated in Asia, China area, and they spread into Africa. And so he didn't like the semantics I was using of proof, and so I'm using now demonstrated, which is much better. It will correct the semantics. So this is the site and the excavation. So they still have a lot of site to go here. Grandolina. Also in Grandolina, they have a sequence of 400,000 to 800,000 years ago, and these are pre-Neanderthals. So they are still basically Homo antecessor, more or less. The naming, I will accept it. The naming is correct. I'm not putting into doubt the names, but there's a sequence where we know that we have more or less. We haven't established it yet because it's getting it's getting more and more clear the more we excavate. That the sequence of our evolution from Homo habilis possibly is. I've read some studies that they are beginning to almost take him out. They are thinking of removing him from the Homo SP and into the Anthropolopithecines, maybe. But I will be upset, or I won't be happy, because he has been associated with the first tools, which are the older one from Olduvai Gorge. And Homo erectus is our first actual verified, most likely ancestor. Most likely, I said, because again, we still haven't got complete consensus. It's getting there. It will arrive or not. Maybe we'll find other hominins, other Homo species that we haven't discovered yet, that are intermediate, etc. It's complex. So the pre-Neanderthals are basically what has been suggested as Homo heidelbergensis. They have been suggested as the ancestor to Homo sapiens sapiens and Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. And I'll just I took a picture here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I think you guys can see it. I can't see my other side until I get it, but we see here Homo oh, what the fuck? Sorry about that, guys. Why is this moving? I don't want this. Don't be hasty. We have here part of it that it's in Spanish from the site. It's Europa a partir de hace casi 1 millón de años. Europe from about a million years ago. If you guys can see, we have Australopithecus ramidus, Australopithecus inafarensis. We have try and get this a bit more. There we go. The family tree. I think you guys can see it a little bit better. No, just reduce it a little bit. Okay, because it becomes blocky. That's it. We have Australopithecus anamensis. Africanus is a dead end. Paranthropus robustus and Boisei are dead ends. Then we have Homo sapiens, Homo habilis. And we get to Homo erectus from Lake Turkana, or Agasta, which is possible. The Agasta, erectus, and rudolfensis, there is still not consensus between them. They could be Homo erectus with a great variability in their morphology, or they could be 3 different species or more. But anyway, we know that heidelbergensis and antecessor from Atapuerca Dolina and heidelbergensis, which gave rise to Neanderthalensis, Homo sapiens Neanderthalensis. If anyone claims that Homo Neanderthals were not human, show them this. It's Homo sapiens Neanderthalensis. That is a race of humans. And we have here Homo sapiens sapiens, us. We are another race of humans. This is what race is. Not color, not the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, your height, or anything. It is this nomenclature, this designation. I will emphasize it always. I can be boring, but I will emphasize it always. Like I said, Homo erectus and Homo agasta and Homo, what did I say? Oh, damn it, I forgot the name. Homo erectus, agasta, and no, we didn't kill Neanderthals. Vercingetorix. No, we didn't. And rudolfensis, that's the one. Those 3 we are still trying to figure out if they're Homo erectus or 3 species. So let's get back to the article. And so we have here at TD5, a significant level shows different. Let's go back. In TD10, a level of big diversity in fauna has appeared both herbivores and carnivores, as well as a huge collection of Acheulean tools. Now, Acheulean tools are associated with Homo erectus all the way down to Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. And that includes antecessor, pre-Neanderthals, pre-Homo sapiens, no, pre-Neanderthals, and our Heidelbergensis. Heidelbergensis used Acheulean tools. Neanderthals used Masturian tools. Now, the name Acheulean comes from the cave in France called Saint-Acheulean. That was when one of the first Neanderthals, one of the first of these hand axes were excavated in that cave. And Masturian was also excavated in another French cave associated with Neanderthals, and the cave is called the site of Les Mosturiers. Mostier. Sometimes I have problems pronouncing French names. They're so French. But anyway, now we have here the hand axe that was found at TD 10.4 in the Gran Dolina, and it's associated with pre-Neanderthals, Homo antecessor, or possibly Homo heidelbergensis. Possibly. And the TD4, it's a beautiful quartzite Acheulean hand axe. Quartzite is beautiful. It's a really good material to work. It flakes well. It's not as good as flint. Flint is the ultimate, and volcanic glass or obsidian is even better. It's just awesome. Now, Cima de los Huesos. This is possibly the most famous cave in that complex. It's the cave of the bones. I've talked about this site before, where they found a Neanderthal cannibalism, and they've also talked about that here, possibly one of the oldest murder mysteries that they found, because the site appears to be a dumping place for humans and getting rid of bodies. So, yes, obsidian is better because it provides glass. Glass makes the most finest cutting edge you can have. It's not as good as flint in making tools because it's much more brittle, but it was much highly sought after because it was easier to work. You could flake so small flakes and cutting edges of it that that would shave you closer than they use flint bisturis for plastic surgery because it's more durable than obsidian, but obsidian has an even finer cutting edge, and it's 1 micron. Flint can go down to 2 microns. So yes. Yes, Gani, we could be the Neanderthal Mafia body dump site. Yes, that's why it's so awesome about this. Cima de los Huesos is a famous site with 7,000 fossils of 28 individuals, representing more than 80% of the total fossil record of the Middle Pleistocene. It's a smorgasbord of bones in that place. Some of the fossils of the cave have also provided the oldest human DNA recovered so far. The genome shows a clear link between this population and the Neanderthal lineage. So they were Neanderthals. But they're still 4,300. They were DNA Neanderthals, but not morphological Neanderthals yet. So the lineage is there. A new area of Cima was excavated in 2017. The results is again impressive, that with 20 new human fossils, including fragments of tibia, the hand, feet, vertebrae, cranium. The size of Cima de los Huesos fossil record may potentially increase next year thanks to a new area. So again, they've only scratched the surface. This site will be continuously excavated for the next 10 to 20 years and providing a hell of a lot of material. The mandible that appeared in the last day of the campaign this year may correspond to cranium 15, which is pending the study. Cranium 15 individual could be younger than the mandible, though. So that's one of the mandibles of we know it's pre-Neanderthal and Neanderthal because if you guys can see, let me see if I can increase the magnification. Can you guys can, yes, you can see the cursor. This angle here is more, in Neanderthals, it's more, what's that word? More square than our jaws. But the later Neanderthals started to become less square. So, yes. Let's put this back to normal. All right. Now, the Galeria, which is the gallery in Spanish, dated from 200 to 300,000 years ago. This is a natural trap where many animals fell down and their bones were processed by humans. So the occupation of the site was not permanent, but rather from time to time to enter and scavenge. It was an easy trap because of the cold, possibly preserved it well. The animals dropped in, died, and a little bit while later, possibly because of the cold that could conserve in that period, that was most likely in the excuse me, I have to have a drink. My throat's a bit parched. Was one of the glacial maximums, so it would have been very cold and would have preserved the animals like a natural freezer in some way. So they would have scavenged a larder type thing. There was abundant Acheulean tools again, pre-Neanderthals again, and many equids. Equids are horse, and cervid are deer bones. Have appeared, including the mandibles, teeth, skulls, vertebrae, and ribs. In 2017, this year, Unit G3A, that's dated to 270,000 years, was excavated, producing more fauna bones and tools. This evidence reinforces the repetitive use of the cave by humans to get to the legs of the animal with the richest meat assemblages. So they were piggy. Not like modern humans, us, that are not as picky. We basically eat the whole animal. Almost. But it appears that up until us, all the our cousin species and our ancestor species were very picky. They would just eat or get the choice cuts, which is not very efficient. So now we go down to another one, which is Cueva Fantasma, like the Phantom Cave, not the Phantom Menace, another Star Wars reference, but the Phantom Cave, and here we have the Phantom Cave. It's dated from 70 to 120,000 years ago, and it's Neanderthals ? The most exciting news of 2016 was the new site, Cueva Fantasma. It's a huge site, 30 meters wide and 10 to 13 meters of sediment. That's huge. In 2017, they were clearing 10 to 12 tons of rock from an old quarry. The lowest sediment levels may correspond to 1.5 to 2 million years. So if they find anything at that level, bones, it will blow archaeology and anthropology apart. It'll push back, but they won't find anything. Just wishful thinking on my part. Hey, Beach Price, mate. The findings of the fauna remains then Masturian tools. See, Masturian are Neanderthal tools. So these are associated with Neanderthals. They are all fossilized, versing. It's old enough to be fossilized. We even have fossilized Neanderthal bones 100,000 years that have been fossilized in caves with high silica content, groundwater that replaced the bone into silica. One of them is in Italy, and they've reconstructed recently. So, yes. So the fauna remains the Masturian tools, 120 to 120 to 70,000 years, suggest the presence of classical Neanderthals in Atapuerca. Pending a final dating, they're still in the dating phase. Possibly, I've made a video on how fossilization occurs, Benji. I know you should check it out because I explained it well. But in possibly some extreme conditions, yes, you can have modern humans being fossilized at 40,000 years ago. But that has to be exceptional. Mostly it's before that, because it takes a hell of a long time to replace the bone, calcium carbonate of our bones, with other minerals in the area. So, yes. They found that pending the final in 2016, a fragment of the human parietal bone has also appeared, which could be Neanderthal. That's the one he's holding in the hand. The parietal bone is the one at the back that we have here in our skull. It's you put your hand on your head. You put it on your forehead, and then you move it back once again, and then once again. It starts at the top, right at the top, and goes behind. That's a parietal bone, I think. I'm not a very good anatomist. I'm using year 11 anatomy to think. So, yes. Now we get the next one is Galleria de las Estatuas, the statue gallery. Because some form, it's dated to 60,000 years ago, and they are definitely Neanderthals. They found again horse and deer bones, and in two sectors corresponds to Neanderthal occupation at the Atapuerca sites, together with Masturian tools. Masturian tools again are Neanderthal tools. Some of the bone shows cut marks. In addition, carnivore bones appear: hyena and wolf. This site has been dated up to 60,000 years ago. So we get another site, which is called Fuente Mudara, or Mudara Fountain. Around the Trincheira complex is Trincheira is the pit complex. What do you call it? God damn it! Sometimes I forget names. You know how World War I was fought in the trenches. That's it. Thank you, Brian. It worked. The trenches. That's the trench complex. There are another 30 open sites with Neanderthal evidence. So this is open sites. The Fuente Mudara has been excavated since 2012, and this year it has yielded a rich Masturian assemblage, a lot of Masturian toolkits. Tools, including blades, back scrapers, adzes, etc., etc. The site was a workshop that the Neanderthals used for a massive meat processing activity, possibly to dry meat. They butchered the animal, then they'd cut it into strips and sun-dried, smoked, stuff like that. So, yes. Now, we skip from 50,000 to 7,000 and 5,000 years before present. And we get the Cueva del Mirador, the lookout cave. And then we have here modern humans. Now, these are Neolithic from this time period. We don't have any of the other classical Cro-Magnon toolkits, which are the levois, the origination industry, blades, flakes, upper Paleolithic. We don't have the microliths, the Magdalenians. We don't have the Solutreans assemblage, which I studied. The Solutrean complex is around 32,000 years ago. So all modern humans. By then there were no Neanderthals. Question mark, because of Lapedo in Portugal, where they found a hybrid child. An archaeologist, Portuguese archaeologist João Zilhão, and Trincaus. I've mentioned him before, Eric Trincaus, American archaeologist. who both of them excavated the site, and they found that the Lepeto child has features from Neanderthal and modern humans. So yes, he would be the virgins. He would be the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal hybrid at 28,000 years. And 7,000 to 5,000 BP. Another from that is the cave during the Neolithic to try to keep animals during pregnancy and lactation, mainly caprids or sheep. No, goats. Caprids is goat. Another level dates to later Neolithic and Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic is Copper Age, which yielded evidence of cannibalism. So modern humans also. It's mixed race breeding, Jimmy. That's what real mixed races are. Neanderthal, Homo sapiens, modern us. So yes. Now the last one is Portalon, which possibly translates to doorway, big door, and it's 7,000 to modern day. This main entrance of Cueva Mayor, big cave, shows a complete record of human presence between the Neolithic 7,000 BP and the Bronze Age 3,000 BP until the 13th century. Hundreds of objects have been found there: pottery, fragments, arrowheads, buttons, necklaces, beads, burins. A burin is used to puncture cloth, leather, etc. And spatulas, you know what a spatula is. So I won't bother with. And two new objects are remarkable: a perforated button and a gold pin finished in two spirals. And here we have them. The button below here and the gold pin. So we come to the end of this week's episode. Before I go, a bit of an announcement. Next Monday I won't be doing this stream. The motive is I'm going to bed. I have to go get to bed early because Tuesday morning I have to go and catch a plane to London. So I will be next week. I won't be doing any streams at all. I will be in London from Tuesday to Friday, and it's a sort of a 30th anniversary for me and my wife, and also a belated honeymoon because we didn't have one when we first got married. I'm poor as fuck. So yeah. Oh, hi, Hagbard. Thanks for coming on, man. And thanks for. I hope you enjoyed the program, the show. Anyway, so I will be probably doing some this week, and then on the weekend I might do something. If something really good appears, I will do it up until Sunday. So on. So yeah, and that's about it. I hope to enjoy myself there in London. Oh, thanks, man. It's a real honor, and I've interestingly enough, I haven't searched for sightseeing places in London. They are easy to find. I have been searching for places to eat and drink. So yeah, I'm going to film. I have 4. I'm going to take my GoPro copy. It's Denver. I have 4 data cards. One's 32 and the other 3 are 16 gigas. So I hope to do some filming and of course my phone. So I will be getting some footage, and I may, if I can find some Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, I could even just do some filming from there. Nando's, no, Nando's is. I will only go to Nando's because it's cheap, but we get in every supermarket in Portugal we get Nando's, as good as Nando's. So a whole chicken for €4. So yeah. So guys, thanks for coming on. I'm going to end it now, and I will try and do another one during this week because I still have a few things up my sequence of subjects to talk. So yeah, just before I go, don't get arrested for wrong thing there. I'll play the victim. I know speak English, Mr. Guard. I'm a stranger here. No, Malacca, I no speak English. So you see what I mean. Okay, guys. See you around, guys. I'll see you tomorrow or the next day. I might do something. So yeah, cheers, guys.